right, good morning, everybody. Louis Sportslino, MANOVERMARKET, and today is the 24th of September, and this is our mini morning call. Sitting to the left of me, tell everybody you are, Frankie. Frankie what?
Skagit.
Frankie Skagit, okay. You know how he got here? He knew a guy that knew a guy that knew a guy that called me up and said, let this kid come and sit by you. And then I found out, we started talking, he's related to me. So, Frank, what's going on?
Not much. How about you?
How long have you been trading?
We learned for the last 4 months.
The last 4 months. All right. How's it going?
Good.
All right. So Frank is going to start popping in here. He's going to be one of the people that are in our program eventually. But he does, he is related to us on my brother's side, his in-laws, and he actually did call up Anthony. He said, "Can I come over there?" So we're letting him sit with us today, and hopefully he can learn a little bit from us. All right. All right, I'm getting ready. The markets are down again. I don't like to brag, but I've been telling you that the market was going to go back to 1910, and I ultimately think the market's going down to the 1850 area. All right, all the news is bad coming out. We got a global slowdown. World trade is down about 7% when you take in all the slowdown. When you had Europe, now you got the German crisis with splitting over to BMW. Also with not the BMW was doing anything wrong with their cars, but they own Volkswagen. So we got some issues. And I think that what's going to happen is that the American markets are going to probably become even stronger when we flush out some of these guys. All right, Frank, ready to start learning some stuff?
Sure.
All right, here we go. I'm going to share the screens. All right, I'm going to go here. Let's start with this. Let's go here, share the screen. All right. So this is a 20-day profile, okay? And this is, I think, this is, now remember, this is a profile that has only days, so there's no overnight action, okay? So when you look at that, you're looking at the 20-day Thinkorswim profile here. What did I do? Okay. I know how to fix this. I think I know how to fix it. All right. So we're right here. I screwed this all up. Made it too big. All right. I'll fix it. Well, here we are. I wanted to show you that we're right about 1928 is the mode over a 20-day period. Day only, we're trading down about 1,900 points, okay? So we got to make sure that our value area high, low, and mode have been going down steadily, okay? And then I got to bring you back to this chart before we get into our new charts on NinjaTrader, because we can't get 2 years worth of data. This is a day chart going back 2 years, and I keep showing this every day, and I keep telling you that I think that the market is going to trade back into the 1800 area. All right, I think it's got to make one more test down here, and if it makes another test down in this area, I think that we're going to consolidate in this area. Okay, I think that's enough bad news that would drive us down to this point. See how we're getting some consolidation here, and I keep telling all of you for the people that are new, I show this chart every day. All right, since we made the low of 1831 last couple weeks ago, right, based on the day that it opened up and the circuit breakers went into effect. All right, we've been trading in this range from this high up here of 1993, basically right here to 18. This is where I think we're going today, to 1897. All right, we finally we were consolidating. We broke through the 1936. We had a lower close, and I think that's what is pushes back down in this area. And this is different contrast when you take a look at when we made the low back in October of 2014. It was just straight up, no consolidation, no market negotiation, So this is why this is important to me, because if we get back in this area and consolidate and then break and then rally back above here, this is a good foundation for a rally, not this stuff, which I think is horseshit. I'm sorry, that's not a trading terminology, but it's one I'm going to use right now. Now remember that, well, the way I drew this chart too is I took, all right, the low. This is the significant low in October of 2014, the all-time high, drew a Fibonacci retracement, and you can see that we've been basically trading between the 50% retracement, okay, and then this would be a 78.8% retracement. Now, if we got below here and traded and stayed below here, then I think the market would be in have a little more difficulty getting back to a rally. All right, so that's important to take a look at those things. All right, so let's take a look at S&Ps for today. All right, so before I get to the profile and show you where we got a value area high of 1933.75. We've got a point of control of 1927.5. We got a value area low of 1926.25. And we got a bull bear zone of 1926. 1926. We're trading below value, and we're down about 1,500 points. All right. So here's our profile from overnight. Let's go shrink this up a little so we can see. All right. And I know the letters get hard to see, but I'm just going to give you a high of 1925.75. Another low right here of 1907.5. So we took out the low of 1910, right? So, yesterday somebody told me or asked me on Twitter where I thought the market was going and, how much more could go this week. And I said, I couldn't give you an answer on timing, but I thought that the market is going to trade below 1900 again. Here's where I'm really kind of taking a look at these profiles. Okay, this profile, these. Okay, all right. Back from the September 4th down in here, I think the market's going to retrace back into this 1898.25 area. Okay, right in here. Here's 1900. Okay, and we're not that far off. All right, so I think that's where this retracement is taking us before it firms up. Okay, just looking at the market from. Whoops. Let me open that up. There we go. All right. So currently we're going to be a little oversold on the opening, right? We always got to be careful, and we got to be a little careful that there's a short covering rally, and then remember that we have what we call an almost 8.75, so almost 9 points, 5-minute rotation. So people don't understand what that means. Is that the market is moving in the average rotation in 5 minutes during this volatile times, almost 9 points. So assuming that this is, let's just say this was the low, add 9 points to that would be 26.5. The market could rally up here, touch the bottom of value, and end up being a sell here, right? And I'm sorry, you could be short, and the market can move 900 points in your face and still be good because the market's been in these 900 points rotations. Okay, I like to see the markets make when you get a confirmed rotation. I like they usually move in waves of three. So I look for the waves of three. Now, when the market gets expanded, if we get 2 rotations, then I'm looking at you're catching half the raise. All right. So anyway, that's what I'm looking at for today. I think the market is. I'm a seller of rallies. First of all, do we get back inside value? Do we take out our 5-minute pivot? Here's our 5-minute pivot sitting at 1921.75. Now remember, these pivots are not floor trader pivots. Floor trader pivot is different. It's high close settlement divided by 3, and then you get the floor trader pivot. These are pivots that we've designed that dynamically move with the market and give you an idea of short-term trend. Okay, and so what we can do here also is we could go here. I could put a different time frame on. I can go to 15 minutes. Boom, there we go. All right, so now we're looking at our 15-minute pivot, and we're looking at that, and it's now in a sell. It just took it out right here, okay, at 1914 half, okay, and now it moved up to here. So the 1914 half, which has been an area that's been support, has now been taken out by our 15-minute pivot, okay, and then I can then go look at the 30-minute pivot, right? So we're looking for that, and now that it's now been taken out. So that was at 1915 half also. So, I look at multiple time frames, multiple charts to get my ideas of where I think the market's going. I think the market profile is an awesome tool for showing you where it needs to put more volume, shows you where it came from, and shows you how the price and volume is being distributed. Okay, so here's our CCI, and this is also something we've done. We didn't build it. We didn't build CCI, and we didn't build MACD. But the way we designed the moving averages and smooth them out in here, it gives us a pretty good indication of where the market's going. So when we do roll out our charts on NinjaTrader, you'll be able to get these charts. And so, the center line is telling us that we're looking at the market. It's been gyrating all day, but all night, basically since 6:30 this morning. All right, we're looking at this here. This is our smooth sort of CCI. It doesn't go green to red. It goes from green to gray to red, and then you'll see the MACD moving up and down. So what we're seeing here is that, we had a little bit of a rally this morning back up to the Valley area low, and we backed off and we're back down in the 1913 area. Okay, so how do you trade a market like today, right? You got to look for failures. Okay, and remember, you got 900-point 5-minute rotations, so you have to be patient and try to take a look at where the market is coming from. Okay, and and then decide, if you think it's a solid low or a solid high. All right, you never want to just trade from the middle. You want to make sure, you want to make sure that you're getting some sort of failure on one side or another for direction, so you can get in the market. You don't have to pick the top. You don't have to pick the bottom. The whole idea is to get in on the wave and follow it as it goes. All right, so that's that's an important distinction that I wanted to make with everybody. Okay, let me bring down here. So here's our sisters, right? So I keep the 5-minute pivot on all the related indexes, and when these are all moving in tandem, okay, they're all moving in tandem. And remember, if you want questions, type them into YouTube. Anthony's monitoring questions, and we'll try to get all your answers, all the questions answered. We are also in the middle of a move and getting our new offices next week, which are sweet. Wait till you see these new offices. You're going to love them. All right. Anyway, so the 5-minute pivot for the Dow is sitting up at 16,113. So the Dow would have to get above that. Okay. We got the Russell sitting at 1129.70. So it has to get above that for the 5-minute pivot to turn around. And we got the NASDAQ here at 4240. All right, I'll leave these on because I know there's a little bit of a delay, and I want to make sure that you get these pivots. All right, let me see here. Got to move these charts out of the way, and we'll talk about the other little markets that are going on around the world, right? So let me move this over. All right. First of all, let's talk about the golden rule, right? Oh, last second. Right? Golden rule, right? Everybody knows that rule? Frank, you know that rule?
Do not.
You don't know the golden rule?
No.
Right? The guy who owns the gold makes the rule. There you go. That's the golden rule. All right. That's your first thing you learned today. Or did you learn some more stuff? All right. There you go. Look at this. 1143. Now remember what I've always said about gold. Okay. Now it's real. You know, everybody thinks gold's in a bear market right now. Thinks it's going back to under 1,000. I get it, but what is fueling the market today? Gold is a demand product, and the demand right now is telling you that equities, equities are leading the woes. Woe is me, and people are concerned about market recession, not globally. So I think that I think that when you see gold make a spike up like this, I think it's because people think that the financial woes are stronger than everybody is making out to believe. So gold is on the way up. We're trading above value. Our bull bear zone is going to be 1133.30. Value area high is 1131.90. Point of control 1131 even, and the bottom of the value is 1130.40. Here's a typical example. You see we're green. You want to pick a top up here, go ahead, try it. All right. You got to wait for some failure. We're still, and then here's our Tilson and our value added, our VWAP, value weighted average price. These things are pointing straight up. Okay. And you want to get in front of this and think, it can't go much higher. All right. We'll see. All right. Wait for these things to flatten out. And when you get our indicators on Ninja, also we have a excuse me, Frankie, made me lose my train of thought. All right, we have a manual, a trading manual. It's about a 65-page trading manual. Teaches you how to use the indicators and also gives you trading methodologies to trade different commodity markets. All right, so that's what gold is doing. All right, so I'm going to tell you, if you are new to me, you should be going back to my old videos, because I have been telling everybody, and I even put a bond chart out back in January and February this year, and said there will be no rate hikes this year. And I've been saying it for the last 7 months. All these other guys are, going back and forth. The Fed is stuck. They can go nowhere, and they don't want to raise the rates. Look, why do you raise rates when you want to attract people to buy your bonds? We don't have to attract anybody to buy our bonds right now. We are in the dirty laundry. We're the cleanest shirt, and everybody is buying our bonds. And I think the bonds are going back to the 160 area. So take a look at bonds. They are also in a buy right now, trading way above value. Okay, value's down here at 151.31. Bonds are up at 156.86. All right, bull bear zone 155.22. I think bonds are going back to the 160 area, and that will be more apparent as bond traders realize that the Fed will not raise rates this year. They will abandon those shorts. Okay. All right, people. Here's another one. There's another market I've been telling everyone since January. Okay, when we made our lows, that we're not done making these lows. I think we're going to make a stupid low down in the $20 area. Goldman Sachs says oil's going to $20. And remember, this is usually a supply, right? Usually there's an issue with supply, and that's what drives markets, right? Supply and demand. Okay. It doesn't matter right now. If you're a producer of oil, I don't care if it was at $4, right? And this is the mentality. If this is how we get our revenues, by selling oil, then we sell oil. It's the only thing we can do. So we sell oil at any price, and we bring in our revenues. And if we have to restructure our debt, hey, there it is, restructure, right? Too big to fail, restructure. Then you go out and you restructure your debt, okay? But if you decide, well, I'm not going to pump, I'm not going to, I can see that they're going to stop exploration and so on until this turns around, but it's not going to turn around now. I mean, all this is really kind of building on itself. You got a 7% down in world trade. Demand is down, and so supply is not going to dissipate just overnight. So I think we're still looking. I keep every time they try to get it back up on course at $50, they sell off. So currently, right now, we're trading below value. Value area low 44.91, 44.61 value area low. Bull bear zone 44.91 for your oil traders out there. All right. And we got any questions out there?
I answered most of them on the chat here, so.
Okay, great. All right.
They want to know when the program's going to be out.
Well,
Multiple questions when the program's going to be out.
I wish I could snap my fingers. Let me go back to here and so you can see my face. Poor Frankie had to sit next to me. Frank, I'm a 10. I've been a 10 my whole life.
At least you didn't touch me.
All right. Well, I choked Anthony the other day.
That's okay.
That's all right. So anyway, if I could snap my fingers, the program would be out tomorrow. But since I'm not a programmer and I have to depend on our programmers and their intellectual property and disciplines to get the things programmed, to get all the indicators programmed, and the nice things that we want to roll out, I can't roll it out tomorrow. So we're working every day hard on it. And trust me, I would love to get this program out. So as soon as I get it out, you will be the first to know. Frank, what you learn?
A lot today.
You learned a lot. Yeah. Okay. All right. You know what? That's why you have to understand that 98% of people who open up trading accounts without any education lose their money within 6 months. And that's a true fact. And, you can't dispute that. So, I think I showed you this right? Yeah, where I thought the market was going, the 1898 area. All right. So, if you got any questions, type them into the Twitter box. Make sure we're here every morning. It's 8:22. Let's get ready for the market to rock and roll. Remember that we have an 8.75 retracement on a 5-minute time period. So we're looking for either a higher or a low to get in, and then start looking for rotations from that higher low. Okay, look failures from when a higher low is put in. And like I said, you do not have to catch the top or the bottom. You just got to confirm that the market's moving one way or the other, and then just ride the wave. Okay, and take your profits. Take profits. All right, everybody. It's always great being around you. And next week we'll be coming from our new offices that are pretty awesome. We actually have combined our office with. It's an office and a workout. We're gonna have a punching bag, which I'm gonna put the picture of my face on there, so I can punch it when I break my own rules. Also, we've got a treadmill and we got a elliptical. We got a sauna. We got room for bench press. I'm going to start working out again. I can get rid of this belly, and then I may have a heart attack on the treadmill. That might be. Where's Lewis? He just had a heart attack. All right, everybody. It's always fun being with it. I hope you learned something. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow, and say goodbye to everybody, Frank.
Have a good day.
All right, bye.